Today on the Big Rob Show, we're talking all about pantry pastas. It's a great way to get a meal on the table in 30 minutes. Let's get in the kitchen, let's get cooking. So pantry pastas are super versatile. You can use anything you have in your cupboard, from canned goods to leftovers to even maybe one or two items that you go to the grocery store for. Here today we're using some cavatappi pasta, which is that beautiful corkscrew pasta. It's gonna hold a lot of sauce and a lot of big ingredients. We have some jarred red bell peppers, a nice tomato diced up. We also got some aromatics, some onions, some green onion bottoms, just the white part that we have coarsely chopped because we're actually gonna blend that up into our sauce. It's a great way for you parents out there to hide the vegetables from the children. Get those kids some nutrition without them being picky eaters. So we got the green onions, we got the white onions, some cloves of garlic. I can't stress enough how much garlic makes pasta taste even better. Some green onion tops that we're going to use as a garnish, and that's completely optional if we're hiding those veggies. And then in terms of the meat, we've got some awesome choices. Here I've got some kielbasa I had in my refrigerator, but you can definitely use Italian sausage or some brats from the cookout last weekend. I've got a beautiful shredded rotisserie chicken. Here, you guys, you can use your used up pork chops, your leftovers, some roasted chicken of any kind. The options are endless, and this is what makes pantry pasta so versatile. I'm also going to throw in some frozen corn. That's another great idea. Use frozen peas. We all got some kind of frozen vegetables in the freezer. So let's get our pan out and let's start bringing this all together, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. 30 minutes, easy dinner, easy weekday meal. Let's get cooking. To get the sauce started, we're going to have a little bit of olive oil in the pan and get our onions and scallions. We want our oil nice and preheated, and you want to hear that sizzle. The whole point is to get these onions nice and caramelized. You want to get some color on these. Just going to stir them around and get these going. And in the meantime, we're going to get our pasta started with a nice big pot of water and a generous amount of salt. What I like to do as a general rule is always undercook the pasta 1 minute less than what it says on the box. Therefore, we can finish it when we bring the entire pasta dish together and finish cooking those noodles with the sauce so that they become warm. Now, these onions are starting to sweat nice and quickly, getting some color on them already because I started off with high heat. You can do this process a little slower if you feel less comfortable with your burner. But yeah, we're getting them nice and brown. You can see they're starting to get a little bit of brown around the edges. And I just want to get that color on them because it's just going to bring the sweetness out, bring the intensity of that sweetness of onions out. Just to provide more flavor to the pasta dish and to the sauce. Remember, we're creating this beautiful velvety sauce, and we need that intense flavor to help us do that. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is just give these garlic cloves a rough chop. Does not have to be anything perfect. I just want to create a couple smaller pieces just so that they cook along with the onions. Again, we're blending this, so the knife cuts do not have to be perfect. We're going to add all of our garlic. Mix that in. In the meantime, we're going to add some seasonings to this. We're going to start off with about 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of salt. And you work that in. What the salt is going to do is going to bring out more of the moisture of the onions and allow that color to deepen. See that color? It's starting to get a little bit brown. Looking real good. I'm going to add a couple grinds of fresh ground black pepper. All we're doing here is starting to build those layers of flavor. We want to season all the vegetables as we go, and then at the end when we blend our sauce, we'll taste it and adjust the seasoning. I'm going to add a few more ingredients. First off, a little bit of smoked Spanish paprika. I want to add about 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. Again, this is, so we're doing a full tablespoon actually, guys. We'll do a full tablespoon of that smoked paprika. It's going to give us a nice smokiness to our sauce. And work that into the olive oil and onions. The oil is going to bloom that paprika. We'll start smelling that smokiness. The color is going to change immediately. It's looking beautiful already. And then just for a little bit of added heat, and this is completely optional, I'm going to add just a 1/8 of a teaspoon of some cayenne pepper. You can omit this 100%. You can add blackening season. You can add Cajun seasoning. This is, really where your creativity comes into play. I can add some red pepper flakes. You can take this a couple different routes with, different kind of chili flakes, like Korean chili flakes or your favorite chili pepper. Add some fresh chilies. And this is looking absolutely beautiful. Okay, and we're getting to the point now where we're going to add our diced tomato and red pepper. And these were jarred roasted red peppers. All that moisture is going to immediately slow down the cooking process. And now what we're going to do is bring the temperature down in the pan, lower our heat, and let this stew together. We want these flavors to combine. We want the tomato and the red pepper to warm through. And then what we'll do is we'll cover this mixture with a pint of cream, nice little carton of cream, and we'll get this blended up. So we've allowed our vegetables, our tomatoes, our roasted red peppers to warm through. What we're gonna do now is add some heavy cream. And we're just adding a pint of cream. We're going to bring this up to a simmer. Give it a nice mix. And look at that beautiful color, that beautiful rosy color. That's due to the paprika and the roasted red peppers. It's looking absolutely delicious. Our onions all caramelized, going to provide so much depth of flavor to this sauce. We're just going to allow that to marry a little bit, and then what we're going to do is use an immersion blender. You can also use a stand blender. What I do like to do though is be very careful when you're using a traditional blender. Maybe pour half of this mixture in at a time to blend it thoroughly, and definitely use a kitchen towel. When you're blending hot liquids, it's extremely dangerous, and you could always get that liquid to explode the blender, so you want to do very little at a time. That's why I prefer a stick blender like this one. You can do it in the pot, just be very careful. Remember, this is hot, guys. You want to be very careful and very safe. Let's get this blended up. First, we're going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning to finish off our sauce. Mix that through. And let's get it blended. What I like to do is turn the heat off. And we're going to fully submerge the stick blender. And we make sure it's not all the way on high. And then we just blend it. And you'll see the color get even darker and deeper red. You already see some of that right there. So we're gonna have that beautiful red pepper sauce coating our noodles later. We're going to continue blending this up, and then I'll show you how to bring the whole dish together. Our sauce is all blended up and looking absolutely beautiful. We still got some texture to it. I didn't puree it fully, but there's definitely no visible vegetables for the kiddos. And what I really like about this is how thick it is. It's nice and thick and creamy. We're just going to keep this over a low heat and then assemble our dish by warming up our sausage, our chicken, and tossing in the pasta with this beautiful sauce. So stay with us. Assembling this pasta dish is super easy. What we have here is a little skillet, and I'm gonna show you one portion of the pasta, but my favorite way to do this for the whole family is once you drain your pasta, just use that big pasta pot to bring this all together. I've got 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil here in the pan, and you can, again, do this in your big pasta pot. Put in some of our kielbasa. If we're doing it for the whole family, I'd put in the entire kielbasa. So what I wanna do here is, kielbasa in this instance is a cooked smoked sausage. So really all I'm doing is, one, getting it a little brown and a little color on it, and also extracting some of that delicious pork fat and seasonings. If you're using leftover sausage, like a already cooked Italian sausage or a brat, you do the same thing. We're just kind of heating it through, warming it through, getting all that fat from the pork to come out into our pan and add flavor to the entire dish. Use a little bit of tongs here. We're just stirring it around, warming it through. And as you can see, I have everything ready next to me. This is called mise en place, what us big chefs in the industry call mise en place. And that just means we have everything ready to go. When you have the pan on, you want to be have accessibility to all your ingredients super quick, so you don't have to go running around. You don't have to worry about anything burning. You have everything at an arm's reach and ready to go. And you get all these little caramelized bits. That's perfect. That's just flavor. Brown food equals flavor. There we go. Just get some of that color on that sausage. And then what we're going to do is add a nice handful of our shredded chicken. And this, again, this is a rotisserie chicken that I just leftover, some leftover chicken that I shredded. You could use diced up roasted chicken that you had from a previous meal, a diced up pork chop or two. Again, the options are endless. It's all about using what's in the fridge, what's in your pantry for a quick 30-minute meal. I'm gonna raise the heat here on the pan because when I added the chicken, the temperature dropped. And we just wanna adjust our heat so that we just continue warming up our chicken. And this is going to take just a few minutes, guys. We've got our sauce on the back burner on warm. It is tasting absolutely delicious. The cameraman himself said it is good all by itself, or even perfect for a little bit of garlic bread dunking. So we've got that on standby, ready to go. Alrighty, even some of the chicken's getting a little color, and that's perfect. We're going to add a nice handful of our frozen corn. You can use frozen peas here, a fresh diced tomato, even some red bell pepper if you want to continue that theme of that red bell pepper sauce. Right? This is just a little pop of color, a little pop of freshness. And this is looking absolutely delicious. Now the secret to any good pasta dish, any Italian will tell you, is the pasta water. Pasta water is the most important ingredient in any dish that you do with pasta because it has that starchy pasta water, and that starch is going to act as a stabilizer to emulsify the fat that you have in the pan with the sauce. You definitely want to include some pasta water, and I've reserved some here, so I'm just going to use it to deglaze my pan. And then we have our delicious sauce. It's absolutely beautiful, velvety, and look at that color. So I'm just gonna grab a little ladle, maybe a little extra. And guys, when you finish blending your sauce, you want to taste it, you want to adjust the seasoning. If you need more salt, add more salt. If you want it a little bit more spicy, kick it with a little bit more cayenne pepper. So we're gonna mix that. Alrighty, we're getting close, guys. Flippy flip. Just gonna bring that up to a boil. Make sure that's all warm through. Then I have my big 1980s pasta colander. We're gonna add some of our noodles. Very nice healthy portion. Gonna add a pat of butter, because butter makes everything better. And we're gonna toss this through. And if it's a little too tight, add some more pasta water. We'll loosen everything up, bring everything back together. That butter will start melting. Ooh, that's looking super soaky with all that butter melted throughout. I'm gonna add a little bit of grated parm. Some nice thinly sliced green onions. I'll reserve some for the top when we garnish. Alright, let's get ready to plate. Alright, let's grab our plate. And we're going to go right into the pan. You want a nice balance between your sauce and your noodle. You don't want an excessive amount of sauce. It's all about the sauce and pasta becoming one dish. Too much of one is out of balance. It's all supposed to be about balance. Let's give this a nice little wipe down. Gonna hit it with some more Parmesan cheese. Some nice green onions. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, a beautiful chicken and kielbasa pasta with a red pepper cream sauce. Absolutely beautiful. We'll catch you on the next time at the Big Rob Show.